Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast. Today, we have some Legion baseball talk, and I'm joined to my right by Chris Copeland of Post 156. Did we say it like that?
That's
56?
it. When we're rolling good, we say it like that. When we're rolling bad, we don't even say it.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
We're here to talk about some Legion baseball. The season, full swing now. I think everybody's done, pretty much done. You know, high school's been done for now about a week. Championships are over. We've got it. We're starting to see every team playing now. That was kind of the tough thing, Chris, when we first started looking at this. You know, there was some teams that maybe had played one game or 3 games, and there were some teams that had played 10 games.
Yeah.
It was kooky.
Yeah, and look, we were a part of that, right? I was fortunate enough to have 4 guys playing on Webster's state finals team.
Right.
Awesome experience for those guys. Went down and watched them at Ozark, but I don't have them on the field for the first week and a half. Right. And I want them at those games playing for a state title. But, yeah, you've got certain perennial teams that know we don't schedule early because our high school teams are always in contention. So It's always a bit awkward to start because you never know who's got what the first 2 weeks of the year.
Right. And I think that's the difficulty you find in some of this stuff. But, you know, Legion baseball, we've been talking about it. We're for the last couple of years, we've had some off and on. We're hoping to have a weekly show here. We're hoping to get some other coaches on. I know I've talked with Connor Spinagle from over at Sedalia, hoping to get Jim Moran on here over on the other side, and some of the other Eric Hall I know over with Oak Grove in their first 4 games. They're 4-0, and that you know. So that's interesting. And the tough thing is, you know, we've been putting up some stats, but, you know, it's 4 games. You can't get too excited just yet. They're 4-0. They've won the games they were supposed to, but it's 4-0 still, you know.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that's what you never know, right? When you watch high schools, you kind of know who the guy is. Mm-hmm. And when you watch, whether it's MLB or even college, we know on Friday night colleges throw their best guy. We know who the stars are in MLB. You show up on a given day and you may go, well, that guy's not bad, but is he their ace, right? And so you kind of need a little bit of data to tell you who are the guys who are really players and who are the guys who have kind of found something, or, you know, they had a good start, but let's not read too much into it. So, yeah, it takes a little bit of time with Legion as you get going, the way the structure of our season works, as opposed to just play a tournament every weekend. Like, you kind of need a little bit of time to know who the guys are.
So this area back here is basically production. They do a lot of the artwork back here. They do the production. So any of that stuff that comes in off of, let's say, our fanware stores, stuff that comes in off the team stores, a lot of the coaches wear, a lot of the last minute, hey, we got to have it in the next 10 minutes stuff, that's all comes back here. This area is where all the day-to-day stuff that comes in really goes through. The retail store is its own little entity. This is where the real work is done.
Well, Chris, let's talk a little bit about that because, you know, when this is posted, it'll be 3:00 Central Standard Time on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. For the most part, I know there was some games. I saw some stuff scheduled out on Monday. Does it really kind of how does that factor in? What scheduling wise with Legion baseball?
Yeah, look, it honestly for most teams it starts with field availability. If we're being real honest, like unless you're Washington that has a dedicated field, you can use it any time, or one of those places like that. In District 10, which is ourselves, Eureka, Manchester, Baldwin, Maryland Heights, and Chesterfield, a lot of times it's, in my case, Tuesday, Thursday nights are my prime home dates, so we're going to schedule a lot of our varsity games there. Eureka tends to be a Monday or a Wednesday, so home field matters in Legion ball because it dictates when you can play and host other games. So there's no definitive, like, this is the night to watch, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays tend to be a little busier in Legion baseball. You know, Monday through Thursday, certainly over weekends. But yeah, and again, how you construct your schedule has a lot to do with what your record looks like. And I'll give you an example. 2 weeks ago, we played DeSoto on a Sunday, over at Alton on a Monday, and Ellsbury on a Tuesday.
Wow.
God bless you if you got arms to get through those 3 teams in 3 nights, but that's the competition we want to see, so that's just how we schedule it.
And I think that's, honestly though, I like that because I call, the 19U, because with Legion Baseball, you can still play, it's 19 and under.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a couple of kids maybe back from college, can happen. I've seen that sprinkled out. And so I think it's very interesting in that respect because it should play like a college type atmosphere. If most of these kids are heading that way, and I'll tell you, man, over in Ellsbury.
Yeah. Yep. Best team we've seen so far.
They are.
No doubt.
Loaded.
No doubt. And again, to your point, we went down to DeSoto on a Sunday night, didn't have my Webster guys back, make no excuses. They just beat us 3-1. But they threw the college kid. They had a couple mineral area kids on that team.
There you go.
We go over to Alton, the kid who pitched against us on Monday night. We won that game 2-0. He was a college kid. So what my guys are acclimating to, because on my total roster, I've got 5 or 6 seniors and the rest are juniors. I have no college guys. They're acclimating to every night. They're seeing a dude.
Right.
And that dude has got a year of college under his belt. So, and look, don't get me wrong. Ellsbury's the best team I've seen so far. We've played.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, again, you don't want to. It's a weird thing to say about 18, 19, 17-year-olds. They were very professional in the way they approached batting. Their hitting approach was very professional in that regard.
Just to his point, and before we move on, we were going to hopefully be able to talk about the All-Star roster coming up. I want to everybody, look, we'll have this in the description here. We'll have the link for tickets if you want. Come out to the ballpark. This is going to be at Busch Stadium.
Yep.
If you're a vet, a Legion guy, whatever the case may be, doesn't have to have a dog in the fight, so to speak. Come out and support Missouri American Legion Baseball. It's a great Sunday afternoon at Busch Stadium.
Yep.
Cardinals, the Giants are visiting the Cardinals, so it's a good premier game. And after the game, the Missouri All-Stars will take on the Illinois All-Stars in the Gateway Border War. And last year, it was, folks, you can go watch it if you want to find out. We live streamed the game from Busch Stadium last year. It was a heck of a baseball game. It was really good. The pitching was dominant. It was a 4-3 ball game. Missouri All-Stars pulled it off there. What was the kid's name from Maryland Heights?
Yeah, he had a day. And I don't remember his name. But
and that's terrible, and I'm sorry, young man.
I apologize for that. You had a day. You had a day to remember, except for your name. We appreciate that.
Game-winning RBI. And so, it'll be a fun day. So we'll have that. But we'll try to get to the rosters next week when we're on the show. But, look, this Ellsbury team he's talking about. You're talking about Brady Creech, Avon Weaver, Cam Casso, Gavin Woodson, Jackson Ryder, Caden Speak. That's a handful. And those are all. Avon Weaver, folks, if you don't know, was on the bump in the district championship game against Francis Howell. He lost 1-0 on a safety squeeze bunt that Howell scored the run. That's how close that game was.
Yeah.
He shoved.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of Legion Baseball, right? I mean, I know especially in this neck of the woods, we got a lot of clubs out there, and I've said this to you before, I'll say it every time I talk about it. Unless you're on one of those D1 caliber travel teams, I promise you, night in, night out, you will see better competition on the mound if you play Legion Baseball. You just will, because you've got guys who are going to go be successful.
At the 19 and under situation, I think so, because it's a lot of times you got guys that have committed to things and whatnot. I love, and here's what I really like. This is something that is really important, in my opinion, for Legion Baseball, is the 17U AA junior however you want to call it. I'm just going to call it 17 and under.
Yep.
That Warrensburg Mule Club team,
Yeah.
that's for real.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Look, and I've watched our guys ran into Festus over the weekend in a tournament. Festus is what Festus always is, right?
Well, we're going to get back
Yeah.
to that. We'll come back.
Yep.
St. Jen, 12-0. St. Jen, 7-0.
Yep.
The Cape Ford and Sons, that's down in Cape Girardeau, 11-2. Eureka's 9-2. Ellsbury is 10-3. I got to put on my glass, make sure I'm getting that right. Sedalia's 10-3. Jeff City's 8-4. Washington is 6-2. Jackson is 6-3-1, and DeSoto is 6-5. I mean, that's some serious baseball
Yeah.
being played. There's some really good records, and it'll be
absolutely.
really interesting to see once these teams are starting to face each other. You get into that zone. I think the championship. I mean, wow.
Well, here's what's interesting. This is what we experienced last year. So those guys are all solid, but Eureka, I'll throw us in there for now at AA, Festus, St. Jen, Jackson, all those guys are in the same zone. So only one of them is going to make the Final Four. So when you talk about how loaded certain parts of the state are and how tough it gets, there's more competition in some regards getting out of a zone in Legion baseball in the summer than it feels like getting to the Final Four at the high school level for some of these kind of regionals. So, you've absolutely got, you feel bad because in your heart of hearts, there's going to be someone who's probably second in a zone who could very well be the second best team in the state.
You got, just 156. Kirkwood, they're 6-6. The junior team's 6-6. I think across the board, you guys are 8-3 with the 19U.
Yeah.
6-6, 17U, and then you're a 15 under freshman club, 6-2.
Yeah, look, and that freshman team, I'll tell you, they went out and played doubleheader at St. Peter's last night, split it in part because they're going to play Washington's two teams on Wednesday, and then they got a game on Thursday. So records are great. The thing I always say about Legion with records is you never know quite how they got there, right? Who was pitching that night? Who did they have the next night? Who pitched the night before vacation?
Well, it's in
So that's
baseball.
always- that's how it
Baseball's always,
goes,
but
right?
but your record still speaks to you as a squad,
Yeah, sure.
especially when you're getting upwards of playing 12, 13, 14
absolutely.
games. That's why when Oak Grove,
Yeah.
they're 4-0, fantastic. They've won all four there. But that's the one you got to wait on. Once you get into that 12 to 15 game mark and you're
Absolutely.
winning more consistently, those are things that do start to speak to depth, start to speak to
Oh,
the
totally.
players on your team and what you're doing that way. So that to me becomes this is where it starts showing that separation.
Yeah, and I think what you start to see are teams that can handle what's required in the postseason, right? In most of these districts, you're going to play a double elimination district tournament. Then you're going to go play a double elimination zone tournament. Then you're going to play a state tournament, all in 3 weeks. If you don't have that depth, you'll be done early.
And to your point, you brought up Festus, their 15 and under squad. They're 14-0.
Yeah.
And when that goes into that range,
look.
all of a sudden you're like, you're 14-0. You've played pretty much everybody. They're playing in some tournaments.
That's right.
So this team has 4 guys hitting over 400.
Yep.
Cole Mollusky, folks, this young man's hitting 500. He's got a 1.413 OPS. He's slugging 727.
Yeah.
With 2 doubles and a home run, 12 RBIs, or 12 runs scored and 11 RBIs. The other guys that are hitting 400 better are Jackson James, Ricky Wallace, Henry Brown, and Braden Good. And, to your point, this is what it points to. Because how many games does typical 15U squad play in the season for American
Yeah, look,
Legion?
you're going to play probably. You're shooting for about 25 games
Okay.
before you get to postseason.
So they're about halfway through their season.
They're about,
aren't
yeah.
they?
You figure the nice thing about the freshman level is you start as soon as that freshman season ends, right? So you can go as early as mid-May, and you can start entering some non-Legion tournaments. They've obviously got probably 3 more weeks before we hit 4th of July, and then you'll kick in. Like, I think most freshman level 15Us will go the week after the 4th, will be districts, and then states the following week. So, yeah, they're about halfway through their regular season, and they're undefeated. I mean, the first kid you listed, like, if this was anything but Legion, you go, I'm going to need to see a birth certificate on that kid.
Is that right?
That level of performance, like, we're not playing the same game here. Like, that's a kid who's clearly so far this year just showing off.
Exactly. And so the state championships for the 15 and under start on the 15th of July. So there's basically 4 weeks left here.
And you've got a week of district playoffs in there. You got the 4th, which falls on a Thursday. So realistically, freshman level teams have 3 weeks left of their regular season.
Right.
So you're looking at these teams
right,
now.
districts.
You're looking at these teams now and going, okay, you're 14-0. You got 3 more weeks of district regular season play. Then you're going to jump in right after the 4th into your district tournaments before you get to state at that freshman level. And what's cool about state at the freshman level is it's 8 teams. So you've got a little bit bigger competition pool. You've got double elimination. You're playing a full week. You got pitching considerations. Like, you've got to really earn it at the freshman level because of all that. It's not a 4-team, where we kind of get down to you got to have 2 arms. No, you got to have a week's worth of arms to win the freshman level.
Well, and two, the way some of these teams are playing and hitting, you better have some arms. Oh,
You
my
have to.
goodness.
I mean, 2 years ago we played St. John, Festus, Union, and those were all strong pitching teams. And you were still ending up with 8-5, 9-6 type games because people can swing the bat at that level.
And I don't want to leave, here you have the Washington, the Red squad. They're 10-0. Jackson, post 158 freshman, 12-0-1.
Yeah.
Farmington, 5-1, little more smaller sample size there, and you guys sitting there at 6-2.
Yep.
St. Charles 5-4. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this stretch goes, and especially with as you said, with just a few weeks left. Now, I want to ask you, from a coach's perspective, when you're looking at these things, with this kind of squad, 15U, you're getting close to you're getting close to districts. Will you put your team in a tournament to kind of test them that way?
Yeah, so we go about it a little different. So we've done that in the past. This year, we've got our guys also playing in the Slava League, so St. Louis Amateur Baseball Association 15U League. What I like about that is you get some different levels of competition. You get some cupcakes in there. You get some guys who are truly club tournament teams who use this as their midweek, and you kind of get everything in between. So that's how we bolster what we do in terms of Legion play. Look, for me, I try to create for our guys moments that show us how close we are to what I know postseason feels like.
Yeah.
Right? We went out, my freshman guys, they went out and played in Washington's tournament earlier this year. So started the season out in Washington, got to Sunday, and the day was a little big. Washington's used to being there, right? They start guys at 14U, they advance to 15U, they have a kind of 2-year development, which is really smart out there. They're used to those moments. Our guys are going back tomorrow night, so right after this airs, they'll be on the road to Washington to play a doubleheader against those 2 Red and Navy teams to kind of, once again, you got to test yourselves in different ways. So you can do it in tournaments. Tournaments are always tricky because you never know who you're going to get in play, right? I'm always looking for those moments because when you get to state, something will go wrong. Somebody will come up, their arm's a little sore. One of the bats you thought you're going to find out 2 days before, they got a family vacation they didn't tell you about. There's always something, right? So you kind of, for us, we try to create these moments of competition that we can somewhat control and go, okay, let's go play these guys here, right? My freshman guy's going to St. John right before the 4th of July weekend. Okay, let's see what we got against some of the teams we know are good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, folks, I'm looking down the road here. DeSoto, you were talking about on the 19U. They're 5-1.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how they continue. St. Peter's is 3-1. They haven't played,
Yep.
huge. Hannibal up there, 4-2. St. Charles 3-2. Eureka's 4-3. That's kind of the top grouping right there. So I think we're going to see, we'll see the separators. You got the teams that you've gotten games in 8-3, even with, missing some dudes.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if at the end of the year I'll have a better record than Ellsbury. I know I'll have the hardest strength of schedule in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 11 games in, and we've played at DeSoto, at Alton, and I've played Washington 3 times. And against those 5 combined, we're 3-2 with 2 wins against Washington. So I know that when our guys get to the end, they're going to be battle tested.
Yeah.
So to me, that's my obligation to my players, is to put them in those situations. But yeah, you'll see a lot of these guys get beat up by each other once they get to district. And I think that'll be really interesting with Ellsbury and Washington and those guys in District 9. They're just going to beat each other up for the next 3 weeks.
So, folks, and so as we're talking here and we're watching and we're talking about these things, I want to say this because Chris and I were sitting here. We're looking. I get a lot of my information from Game Changer. It's on the website. If you've gone and looked at the stuff here, we're working to post more. We want to be interactive, keep people up to date. What's going on? We have the weekly in-season letter going out right now, where we're highlighting players, coaches. It'll be coming out tomorrow. The information where we're going to look for a player of the week from each age level that we can spotlight players. Yep. And hopefully maybe, too, as well, get some quick interviews here and there, talk to the kids. I think this is the fun stuff. This is what we love to do here at Youth Baseball Midwest. And it's why we partner with groups like Missouri American Legion Baseball, because it's fun.
Yeah. Look, it's
baseball.
I tell this, we've got a couple new guys on our team this year, and I talk with their parents. I'm like, look, there are so many lessons baseball can teach you that have nothing to do with the game.
Right.
But if you're not having fun, you'll miss all those lessons. And so the last thing I want to do is spend a summer with guys afraid, what happens if I strike out? Am I headed to the bench? What happened? Like, there are mental and physical mistakes. Yeah. And we coach through both of them. But the last thing I want are for guys to go through the summer miserable. Like, dude, you're 17, 18
You
years
should go
old,
fishing
man.
then, man.
Like dude, life's too short not to be able to hang with your boys and have a good time.
Right.
So for me, personally, I want to challenge our guys. I want to play great baseball as much as we can.
Yeah.
But I want them to take away what it means to be on a team and what it means to play for something at the end of the season. And that's what I think distinguishes Legion. So, yeah, I mean, celebrating these guys who are committed to this, it's an awesome thing to do.
And so we want to make sure we're trying to find everybody on Game Changer. If you haven't seen anything about yourself or anything there, probably because, especially if you say, hey, our record's that good.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I can't find you on Game Changer. If you have some information or another way to do it, please send an email. We've got the connections, moalb at redearthprod.com. That comes directly to us over here. So we can follow this. We're really pushing hard to do that. We're watching Game Changer. I don't even have access to some of the stats. I have access to some teams with stats and some that don't. Okay, fair enough. But the ones I do, it's fun because we can talk about kids. It's just like this young man that's hitting.
Yeah. Like, look, my number 2 hitter, I mean, a kid who was first team all-district for Webster, second team all-conference. Drop him in the lineup, he's batting 600 so far. Like, when you can sit here and highlight a kid, especially a kid who's a junior or senior. So,
right.
When I was out here last.
What's his name?
Yeah, Asher Rada.
Yes, indeed.
Great kid. He had a great year, inserted into left field for Webster about a third of the way through and just kind of shined
took
took off from there. Yeah. And he's been with us since the beginning. Last time I was out here, Brennan Ray, a kid I told you about. That kid's getting offers now to go play college ball. He had a phenomenal season for Kirkwood, first team all conference for them as a shortstop. And, We knew Saturday night in playing in the Baseball Battles Cancer Tournament, we knew we had to beat Washington to advance to the next day. It was the only option to put on the mound, and he was great for 5+ innings against Washington, led us to a 4-3 win. So kids like that, like we got to celebrate kids like that in Legion Baseball because they're just great kids and great players.
Absolutely. I love to hear that. And that's what I'm saying. So those are the things we want to continue to grow. So please, if you can, we'd appreciate, just sending that information, so we can follow the programs throughout the season. We're working to get more we want to make sure that we get the middle of the state, the west side of the state, as well. I know Eric Hall over there at Oak Grove will be getting more information there. We want to get Eric on. I love talking with Eric. He's in the know on that side.
Yeah.
Connor Spinagle as well, Jim Moran, those guys, because there's some really good baseball played there. I think Sedalia's down a little bit this year. I think they lost some dudes from the squad that went to the state championship last year, but it'll be interesting to see how they fight through that. Jordan Hall is coming back. He came back for the 19U squad. He's back on that Oak Grove team. And if they've brought a lot of those guys back, that's going to be a very dangerous team.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's the exciting thing, right, is kids don't have to close doors. Kids can be eligible to come back after that freshman year, a year of doing what you do away at college, getting stronger, getting more mature or less mature, depending on how you approach your first year of college. But you can come back and really contribute. And it's exciting for me to watch you basically have 3 years, right? Junior, senior, and post high school year to watch them all compete against each other because it really creates some interesting dynamics.
Well, I'm sorry, I should have led with this because to me, I think this is one of the important things here. Division II in American League. It started here in the state of Missouri. I think it's cool. It's a great opportunity for some of the smaller towns. And this Atlanta Bullets team, they're way up there.
Yeah.
In the north, 9-2 to start this season. Cahokia Prime is a new Division II team this year. They are 3-1. Harrison County 2-0. They haven't played a lot of ball yet, probably because you don't know even some of those teams playing in the lower classes. Getting their guys back if they've been playing some of those areas. There's a lot of those teams from that north playing the smaller classes.
Yeah, that's right.
That are playing deep into the postseason.
And it gives those kids a format and a structure to go play summer ball, right? And it gives them something to play for at the end. It allows some of those smaller teams to think about how do we challenge bigger teams? How do we build something in our community? I mean, that's a really underrated part of Legion Ball is it's a community opportunity. It's a growth opportunity for your community. So love to see the smaller towns kind of embracing that and bringing that back to them.
I'm hoping, last year the Sheraton County Cartel, they won the state championship last year in Division II in the inaugural. I'm hoping we can get some more information. I believe that's from last year. This year, I believe we've got them on Game Changer.
Yeah.
Harrison County Hot Rods. It's a little bit. They have a 17U team this year.
Yep.
As well. So I think that's cool.
They have
that's
their Division
the key,
II right?
Team.
I mean, and I would say this to other Legion programs out there, or people who might see this and think, well, what can I do? Like, pick a level and start.
Yeah.
Right? There are programs out there like we have a 17U, but we're not quite ready for a 19U. We started here. We started with a 15U, and we're going to build them up and let that, start wherever you can start. It's oftentimes hard to start with the 19U guys. It's easier to bring a team through and start younger.
Well, okay. And this is the thing that I think is interesting. If you're going to start that and you're rolling through these things and you're doing this, finding that group, finding folks that will help you and continue the program. It's like Warrensburg. I talked with the guys over there. They've got this juggernaut of a team.
Yep.
But I hope that post 131, there's people that will come in behind that and continue the program.
Well, and that's a huge part of it. I mean, the guy who I took over 156 from, Stu Vincent, laid an incredible foundation over the last half dozen years of like, this is what we're going to do and how we're going to challenge ourselves. What we're now trying to do, so we're headed out Thursday morning to Indiana. We're off to play in Terre Haute, 14-team tournament, defending state champs from Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana in the tournament. That's us taking that next step as a program to say, now when our guys come in, we're doing travel events. We're playing high-quality competition. So, yeah, you kind of got to build up your programs so that next group comes through and goes, well, this is cool. What else? And
So-
here are those what else's.
That's the Aviston Express, right? In
So
Illinois.
we've got-
and Washington, of course, in Missouri.
So it's Danville in Illinois. They
Danville.
knocked off Aviston. Aviston was
Okay.
2022. Danville beat them in the finals last year. Washington in Missouri and Lafayette in Illinois or in Indiana. So you got 3 state champions. You got teams from Terre Haute. You've got 5 different states: Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri teams.
That's what you wanna play in.
Look, they call it
Yeah.
the best of the Midwest for a reason, and that's what you kind of sign up for. Coming from Missouri, it's Ellsbury, it's Washington, it's Eureka, and it's us.
Wow.
So we're the 4 going over. So we'll see if one of us can bring back some hardware because it's a loaded field.
You got to keep me posted on that one, Chris.
It's going to be a great. Yeah, well, look, that's what I tell all my
I'll be
folks.
watching that. That's this coming
That is
weekend?
this coming weekend. Yep. So
Okay.
we play our first game Thursday at 5, 2 on Friday. They've got 2 local high schools plus Rose-Hulman University that they're hosting games
Mm-hmm.
at. That'll be a great event. And like you said earlier, we'll have it on Game Changer. We stream all of our games, so our players have all their clips of all the action. But yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a hot weekend, but it's going to be a fun weekend for these teams over there.
Danville, we follow them. They
Yeah.
follow us, Post 210
Yep.
over there in Illinois. Aviston, of course, that's Jason
Yeah.
Racker's squad. There's a lot of really good high-level baseball folks. And we're excited. This is the first time we've done an in-season show like this, kind of looking at the at the records. I'm hoping that it'll continue to grow. We can do this, and we've been working with the Legion for the last couple years. The teams are coming back. When we first started, there was X amount of teams. It's grown since then, and we love that.
Yeah, look, and it's good baseball. Like, I'll tell you a little funny story. Tom may not appreciate this, but Tom, we invited Tom Rhodes out. We were hosting Washington 2 weeks ago.
Oh, he won't be. This is all
it's
right.
fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
So we were hosting, and Tom looks at me before the game. He brought the trophy out, and he's like, hey, I may not stay the whole game. I'm like, that's fine, Tom. Really just appreciate you coming out, being part of the ceremony.
He's the state chairman,
He is
folks.
the state chairman. So he comes out. And game gets going. We score 2 in the bottom of the first and kind of hold there. Washington scores 1 in the top of the 6th and ends up 2-1 ball game. We were fortunate enough to win that night. And there's Tom still sitting there. And he's like, just couldn't leave, could you? He goes, no, this was fun.
That's good baseball.
And that's good baseball,
That's good
right?
baseball.
Anytime you can lock into a really good Legion game between 2 quality programs, you're going to see something that looks like really good high-level baseball. And you don't always get that on a Saturday in a tournament, even a Sunday with some of these tournament teams. But in Legion baseball, those guys you've been highlighting who are at the top of the rankings, you put any 2 of those together, and most nights you're going to get a show.
Absolutely. Folks, we appreciate you tuning in. Look, we got a few things to go over here. Go to the website, MissouriAmericanLegionBaseball.org. Go to the baseball page. There's a lot of information there. Plus, you can subscribe to the weekly, to the Show Me Legion e-letter, which also features the weekly in-season e-letter that's going out. We're highlighting players. We're talking about games. We're putting information out. All-Star game coming up. Get some tickets. You can go to the website. The information's there. Again, contact us at moalb@redearthprod.com. Send us any information. We're going to put this is going out across the board. We appreciate all the coaches, all the families, all the players. Follow us on Facebook at is it Mo Legion Baseball? Drew, oh my gosh.
believe it is.
I believe it is. Man, it just
Just had
went
that moment,
blank,
didn't ya?
right?
Just had that moment.
It's all there. It is Mo Legion Baseball. I believe that's on Facebook, Instagram, and X.
Yeah.
Formerly known as Twitter. I like to say that because it always reminds me when Prince, went to the symbol. The symbol formerly known as Prince. This is the X, formerly known as Twitter.
That's right. And look, put the clips out there. Promote your players. Promote your teams. Like, there's so many great ways to highlight your guys and let these guys amplify you.
Send us some clips. Send us some clips. We'll put it on the show. Love to. As we're talking through this, we're going to be here every week.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this through the season, right through. We'll be live streaming the state championships, and our goal is to live stream the Mid-South Regional. The Mid-South Regional is going to be in Washington, folks, and that information's up on the website right now. That's going to be, I think, August 7th through 11th, I think, is the dates, if I remember off the top of my head. Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, to name a few, Mississippi is going to be here. They're going to converge on Washington. The Washington team gets an automatic bid because they're the host, but then the state championship from Missouri. So there's two opportunities for Missouri to get in. I think that's cool.
And look, if you've never been out to Ronsick Field in Washington, it's a great old-timey park, got great seating, got a great snack bar. You won't leave hungry. Like, it's a great kind of old-time experience of a park. Yeah. So even if you're not associated with one of the teams, you'll see some good ball out there that weekend.
Absolutely. And I think we got some teams, like we said, the Ellsbury team. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. That could be a team you guys got it to do.
Yeah, look, I mean, we played them, and I make no excuses. We had a bullpen game because we had a tournament last weekend. I hope I see them again at some point over the weekend.
Before you get to the...
I hope I see them with the right arms because you're going to need the right arms to give those guys a run.
You like that they're in District 9 instead of 10, right?
Look, man, it doesn't bother me. But look, yes. I mean, when you consider Ellsbury and Washington have to go through each other multiple times, it don't bother me a bit that's not our lot. But, Eureka will always have something. We know the guys down south have, and St. John and Festus and others. So, there are no cakewalks in this state, especially once you get to that 19 level.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm hoping that, as it continues to get back to where it was, there's still District 9, 10, and 13. Yep. 14 even, with a little bit there. But hoping to get some of those districts on that west side back to where they were with, Jeff City. Jeff City's playing well. Sedalia up into the Fike baseball.
Well, and look, you and I have spent a lot of time today talking about programs, right? Who are the good teams? What I'm excited about once we get these all-star announcements is talking about some of the players and showing some of those clips and letting these young men's accomplishments be out there and be seen. Because, as great as Washington is as a program and what Ellsbury's built and what we try to build and St. Jed and Jackson, all the others, it's the players, man.
Absolutely.
It's the kids, it's the kids and celebrating their accomplishments. So going forward with this, I'm excited for us to talk about the guys who are hitting 500, the guys who are slugging to it, that's a guy, now the downside, of course, is every other coach in the state goes, that's the guy to avoid.
And that's why we want the coaches to send us the information. We're looking for players of the week that we can spotlight, kids that are getting it done. And that to me is what's exciting about this. And looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for being
here,
stuff,
Chris. Man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Folks, thanks for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, please take a moment, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate that very much. Hit the dinger next to it because, hey, that's what we do.
We hit dingers. That's it.
Might as well. Chicks dig that. And that way, that gets you all your notifications for upcoming episodes such as this. Stay tuned for more from Missouri American Legion Baseball. We're looking forward to it. All-Star game coming up June 23rd at Busch Stadium. Make sure you check that out. Go to the website, get your tickets. It'll be a lot of fun. Get to see a Cardinal game before that. And not to mention, the ticket gets you a free soda and a hot dog.
Yep, and a giveaway day. Don't miss it.
There you go. Folks, everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, throwing strikes. And hitters, give them some advice.
Nobody likes to bunt, so swing for the fences.
We'll see y'all next time.